Stop for a second. Before continuing, just stop. Take a deep breath and feel the space around you. There is a type of silence that is not empty. It carries intention. He announces the move before anything happens. If this video just appeared for you, it wasn't by chance. Messages like this don't appear out of distraction or random curiosity. They arrive when something invisible decides to align paths. You felt it, even if only for a moment. A strange feeling of pause, as if time had slowed down. Slightly, as if something were silently watching. This is not imagination. It's not anxiety. And that's no coincidence. The universe doesn't need to call out loudly. He doesn't beg for attention. He simply drives. There are messages that are not meant for the masses. They are reserved, protected, delivered only to those who have the infrastructure to receive them without getting lost. And the simple fact that you are here now, it already reveals more than you imagine. Not everyone would understand this calling. Not everyone would feel this quiet restlessness, that feeling that something important is about to be understood. Some souls go through life reacting to noise. Others learn to recognize the weight of silence. This is one of those moments. Nothing here was created to convince you. There is no intention to prove anything. What will be said only resonates. Or not. Because when a message is true, she doesn't force her way in. She finds permission. And if you've made it this far, that's because permission has already been granted. There is a specific energy that recognizes this type of call. An energy that doesn't rush, it does not disperse. Don't let yourself be swayed by everything that happens. An energy that observes before acting. What do you feel before deciding? Someone who understands before speaking. Now, listen carefully. What will be revealed from here on? Don't talk to just anyone. It addresses those who possess a silent strength, a firm presence, a nature that does not seek confrontation, but it also doesn't tolerate disrespect. This message has been sealed. For those who know how to walk away when persistence becomes self-betrayal. And now, it opens up. If these words touch something within you, don't ignore this sign. Leave a like as a way of acknowledging that this message arrived at the right time. And sign up to stay connected to this space, where messages don't appear by chance, but when they need to show up. What comes next? You won't find anyone who runs. Those who remain attentive will find it. Some lives follow predictable paths, and there are lives that never fit into the usual molds. Yours belongs to the second type. From a very early age, you realize that something was different. Not because someone said so, but because the path seemed to demand more silence, more discipline, more firmness than usual. While others received quick answers, you had to learn to wait. While many relied on promises, you built with consistency. None of this was a coincidence. There are souls that are not placed in the world to experience things superficially. They are placed there to support invisible structures, to maintain balance where others would lose it. You weren't born to repeat ordinary stories. You were born for cross difficult stories without falling apart. And that's why, from an early age, life presented him with limitations, responsibilities, choices that seemed too burdensome for your age. But these experiences weren't meant to break you. They came to shape. There is a higher intelligence that distributes destinies according to the capacity to sustain them. And when something was demanded of him, it was because you had enough structure to carry it. Not everyone receives this type of mission. Not everyone could handle it. You were taught to walk without applause. Next, without needing constant validation. To keep going even when nobody really understood what you were doing. Yes, this creates loneliness, but it also creates internal authority. You don't depend on the approval of others to know who you are. You recognize your own worth in silence. There's a reason why you rarely get lost in impulses. One reason why you observe before acting. One reason why their decisions are firm when they finally come to pass. You were prepared to think long-term, to see beyond the immediate, to sustain consequences that others would avoid. His life was never about shortcuts. It was about resistance. Regarding consistency. About staying when it would be easier to give up. And even when you questioned why all of this was happening, even when fatigue set in, the path continued to open up. Not quickly, but in a way safe. This is not luck. That's a choice. You were placed exactly where you needed to be to become who he needed to be. And everything that still seems delayed, it's just waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Because solid destinations, they are not in a hurry. There were times when you walked alone, even when surrounded by people. Moments when their intentions were misinterpreted. His demeanor was mistaken for coldness. His silence was interpreted as emotional distance. But the truth is, nobody saw what you were carrying inside. While many were talking, you were watching. While others reacted in the heat of the moment, you were holding it. You learned early on that not every battle needs to be fought aloud. Not all injustice requires an immediate response. Not all pain can be resolved through confrontation, and that came at a price. There were days when you wondered, was it worth continuing to be who you were? Whether the silent effort made any sense? If someone, somewhere, realized what you were standing up for. This doubt did not arise from weakness. It emerged because the evidence was never visible. Most of what you faced, it left no external marks. It didn't generate applause. He received no recognition. You were tested in what no one else sees. Tested with patience, tested on loyalty, tested on its ability to remain whole, even when it would be understandable to harden completely. And many times you chose to remain steadfast. Not because it was easy, but giving up would mean abandoning one's own essence. Some people crossed his path simply to test his limits, others to challenge your confidence, others to see how far you would go before turning away. You endured more than you should have. He waited longer than he needed to. He gave more than he received. Not out of naivete, but because he believed in the value of time, in the weight of well-made choices, strength of character when no one is watching. And every silence you kept, it was recorded. Not because of people, but for something bigger. There is an order that observes those who resist without becoming corrupt. The person who accompanies the person being tested in the absence of witnesses. It only responds when the lesson is complete. Nothing you experienced was punishment. Nothing was wasted, nothing was forgotten. Everything that seemed to take time, it was, in fact, calibration. Because silent forces do not develop in peaceful environments. They are born under pressure, in extended time, in the absence of guarantees. You were trained to recognize the exact moment to walk away, to understand when persistence ceases to be a virtue, and it would then become a form of self-disrespect. And when that moment arrived, something inside you has changed. No announcement. Without fanfare, no turning back. The invisible test was complete. There's something about you that doesn't need to be announced to be felt. It's not about posture. It's not a word. That is not a stated intention. It's presence. You enter a room and something silently reorganizes itself. Some feel comfortable, others feel exposed, and many don't know why. This happens because their energy doesn't adapt to what is inconsistent. She doesn't mold herself to please others. She simply remains true to herself. And this triggers reactions. Some people come closer seeking stability. Others are seeking validation. Others seeking control. But not all of them can stay when they realize they can't manipulate things. Its presence reveals what is out of alignment, without accusing anyone, without confrontation, without demanding change. You don't need to say anything. The simple fact of existing the way it exists. It already exposes truths that many would prefer to hide. That's why some people feel uncomfortable around you. That's why others try to diminish what you represent. And that is why, at certain times, betrayal emerges as an attempt to neutralize what they cannot confront. Not because you provoked it, but because its firmness reminds people who they failed to be. His discipline does not humiliate, but it is distressing for those who live without direction. His consistency speaks volumes, but it highlights those who abandon everything halfway through. And his calmness doesn't appease everyone. It reveals who depends on chaos to feel alive. You trigger reactions because you don't participate in the common emotional game. You don't respond to empty stimuli. You don't get lost in petty disputes. You don't compromise principles to maintain fragile relationships. This creates a silent admiration in some and hidden resentment in others. And it is at this point that people show who they really are. Some choose to align themselves. Others choose to compete. Others choose to test boundaries they should never have touched. You don't notice it immediately, Because he's not looking for conflict. You remain who you are, but the effect happens. Your presence demands maturity, and not everyone has it. Therefore, when someone distances themselves from you, or when you decide to walk away, it's not just a relationship that ends. It's an incompatibility that finally reveals itself. You don't lose when this happens. You protect yourself. And those who were unable to maintain their own position, they feel it too late. The impact of having crossed paths with someone that he didn't need to prove anything to be real. If everything that has been said so far resonated with you, don't ignore this silent acknowledgement. Leave a like as a sign that this message found its way to the right place. And sign up to continue in this space, where not all truths are spoken aloud, but they always arrive at the exact moment. Some messages are never repeated. They find those who are paying attention. There is a precise moment when something shifts inside. It's not anger. It's not an impulse. This is not ordinary tiredness. It's clear. You don't advertise. It's not a threat. He doesn't make closing speeches. You just realize it. He realizes that explaining it again wouldn't change anything. To insist would no longer be generosity, but self-abandonment. Staying there would require a kind of strain that doesn't suit who you've become. This is the moment when you step away, not as an escape, but as a decision. To many, this seems cold, distant, sudden. But behind the scenes, this movement has been in the works for a long time. Every limit ignored, every word disregarded, every gesture that had to be swallowed in silence. Everything came together with precision. You don't walk away out of pride. You distance yourself because you understand that certain connections only survive, while someone diminishes themselves to fit into them, and you no longer accept that. The separation is not an attack, it's a natural conclusion. That's when you understand that continuing would interfere with your own path. At this point, something bigger begins to move. You don't see it immediately. He doesn't feel euphoria. There is no feeling of victory. There is stillness. A stillness that seems strange at first, because the previous noise is gone. But soon this stillness reveals itself as alignment. Paths that previously seemed blocked, they begin to rearrange themselves effortlessly. People who could never stay, they simply stop crossing your path. You don't push, do not remove, don't force it. Distance does that for you. And as you move forward, others remain stuck in the exact moment they realized it, that you wouldn't come back. This is the point where many confuse silence with indifference. But it isn't. It's an internal conclusion. You end it without resentment. No desire for revenge, no validation required. And that's exactly what makes the process irreversible. Because when you distance yourself in that way, there is no turning back. Not because you couldn't come back, but that's because you're no longer the same person who came in. There is a law that doesn't need to be announced in order to work. She is not in a hurry. It doesn't show off. He doesn't ask for witnesses. She justage. When you step away, you're not abandoning a situation. It is handing over control to something that operates beyond human will. You don't need to defend yourself. No need to justify. You don't need to balance anything with your bare hands. There is an adjustment that naturally occurs when someone crosses a line that should not have been crossed. While you remain silent, life observes. As you continue building, something invisible begins to reorganize what has been misaligned. This law doesn't provide an immediate solution. She responds to consistency. That's why nothing happens immediately. There is no show. There is no dramatic return. There's only time. And time is always precious. People who believed they could go too far, without any consequence, they begin to feel an emptiness that is difficult to explain. Not because you wished for something bad, but because of what was sustained by his presence. It lost its axis. You don't need to watch. No need to follow along. No need to wait for confirmation. Justice that operates in silence. It does not require validation. It manifests itself when everything is already beyond the reach of emotional interference. And that's why you rarely see the final result. Because when he arrives, you're already at another point on the path. Distance creates a type of protection that doesn't depend on surveillance. You don't need to slam doors shut. They close themselves off. You don't need to prove you were right. Experience takes care of that. This law does not punish. She balances it. And balance is not achieved immediately. It's inevitable. You learn to trust this process. Not because someone taught it, but because he's seen it happen before. You saw situations resolve themselves without your intervention. I watched relationships fall apart on their own after you left the scene. You saw the weight return precisely to the one who tried to place it upon you. And yet, you continued. No celebration, without pointing, without explaining. Because when justice is silent, she leaves no room for doubt. You don't lose anything when you walk away. You preserve what cannot be, rebuilt later. And while many confuse silence with absence, you understand that it is exactly in that space, so that order is restored. There is a kind of tiredness that doesn't come from the body. It accumulates in the soul. It's the exhaustion of being strong all the time, to support more than one should, to remain steadfast even when no one notices the effort. You carried too much in silence, and he wasn't always recognized for it. There were times when you wondered if someone truly saw who you were, in addition to safe posture, in addition to discipline, in addition to the responsibility that has always been expected of you. But here's something that needs to be said clearly. You were never cold. You were cautious. It was never far away. You've learned to protect what's too sensitive to be given to just anyone, and that cost us relationships. Proximity came at a cost. It cost them nights of solitary reflection. You didn't walk away because you didn't care. You walked away because continuing would require to abandon boundaries that took years to build. Few people understand the importance of maintaining internal consistency. To not say yes when something doesn't resonate, to not remain where respect begins to be lacking, even when affection still exists. You felt that division inside, the desire to keep, and the need to preserve oneself. And every time he chose preservation, something inside you has matured. You've become more selective, quieter, more aware of their own worth. This did not make him lonely. He made him whole. Because of the solitude you chose. It is different from the one that was imposed on her before. It doesn't hurt. She organizes. And everything that couldn't stand that version of you, it wasn't meant to stay. You don't need to justify that. No need to explain. Don't blame yourself. You did what needed to be done, to keep walking without getting lost. And that's something few people achieve. There is a reason why Capricorn is moving away. It's not something that can be easily reversed. Not because you're inflexible, but because when you walk away, it has already crossed an internal boundary that cannot be reversed. Many only realize this later, when they try to reestablish contact, when they seek explanations, when they expect everything to go back to the way it was before. But that point no longer exists. Capricorns don't cut ties in the heat of the moment. You observe, you evaluate, you wait until you are absolutely sure. That remaining would mean disrespecting one's own essence. And when that certainty arrives, it doesn't come accompanied by anger. It comes accompanied by silence. This silence is not empty. He carries the decision. It is the silence of someone who understands. Certain connections only survive as long as someone sacrifices themselves to maintain them, and you no longer accept that role. Here is the warning that few heed in time. When Capricorn walks away, the cycle is not paused. He is closed. There is no need for confrontation. There is no need for final words. There is no need for external closure. The closure happens from the inside, and that's exactly why the effect spreads silently. People notice changes they can't explain. Situations are starting to lose stability. Paths previously supported by your presence. They become fragile when you're no longer there. Not because you caused something, but why you're moved what maintained the balance. Capricorn does not seek justice. Capricorn restores order as he exits the stage, and this order imposes itself naturally. Life takes over what you didn't need to touch. Time reveals what you didn't need to expose, and the impact happens when there is no longer room for negotiation. Therefore, the departure of Capricorn. It's not a dramatic act. It's a point of no return. And if you feel that something is still being adjusted in your life, you can see quiet movements happening behind the scenes. You can see people being pushed away effortlessly. Don't resist. Some changes don't require a reaction. They only ask for your presence and attention. Not everything needs to be understood right now. Some answers only come later. That silence served its purpose. And there are messages that continue to reveal themselves, only for those who remain attentive to that which makes no noise. If you want to stay where messages like this appear, they arrive when they need to arrive. Stay connected to this space. Not everything that is being adjusted in your life, it has already been revealed. Some movements are still happening in silence. And in the next video, let's talk about what Capricorn never says. But that changes everything when it is understood. Pay attention. Not everyone needs to hear this, only those who are ready.